People have started coming in. Are we seeing people get in, or is it just still us? Sorry, I got in late, so I'm not. Oh, Mutiat is here too from London. Great.
I'm
Um,
also going to make a couple pieces of art for you, Craig. I have some already made. I signed up to present a few specific pieces up in Santa Barbara later this month. I haven't got a response yet, so if I don't get a response soon, I'm assuming they're they haven't selected me or my friend, and so I'll take the pictures and send you the information.
well, that'd be great. Yeah, amazing. Um, okay, cool. All right, we're officially on. The time is up, and it's 11 Pacific. And let's see, who do we have in the room? I want to change it to the speaker view. How do I do that? I mean, sorry, not speaker view, gallery. There, gallery side by side. Am I oh, there. Thank you. Now I can see it. Oh wow. A lot of people in here today. Can see Jeremy and see. Oh, Lisa is here. Hey, good to see you. Let's see. Oh my gosh, my friend Tushar is here. Is he from?
Hi, Chirag.
Hey, how are you, Tushar?
Good yourself?
Oh, good, mate. Long
Good
time.
turnout.
Yeah, it's been a while. Um, Mark's here. Hey, Mark, Melbourne. Wow, we got quite a diverse room here. Maria is here. Oh, fantastic. All right, guys, welcome to Elevate. My name is Craig Shah. I'm the founder, CEO of CS Timepieces, Evoke Immersive Tech, and Elevate Mastermind. Um, Founded Elevate in 2014 with Purpose Before Profit, and it bloomed into something really beautiful. It's not just a mastermind, it's a business accelerator, it's a space where people can freely communicate guards down. They can talk about who they are, what they do, and get a lot of support and resources and build companies and create a massive impact in the world. So it's an impact driven community. For those who know me, for the most part, you know that we thrive on giving back. And, the whole reason I started this, movement back in 2014 was with the purpose that, if you give back, the just universe gives you many folds back in return. And just always has worked for me. Um, my story is very simple. I come from a small city in India. I was born and raised there, and I moved here when I was 18, 19-year old. Um, Prior to that, I was in Hong Kong and Tokyo for a couple of years, joined the family business, started selling diamonds. Not a family business, actually. Like they became my family. They're family friends. And I worked for them for 6 years, from 16 to 22, worked in different parts of the world, high ticket items at a very high, profile clientele, and also, I was maintaining inventory at a very young age. I used to monitor and kind of take care of their tens of millions of dollars at 16. So I got a lot of high pressure environment training back in my early days, and that kind of molded me into who I am today. Um, my grandma taught me how to give gratitude and always be thankful and look for kindness and always give kindness. And that's what I attract. So people who are in my community or people who know me for one thing and one thing only, that we always give gratitude. And most ambassadors today, fast forward, you know, 10 years later from 2014 to 20, well, almost 11, we're in the 11th year now. All of our ambassadors are gratitude givers. They are very heart-centric people. And we look for people who have a uh, first of all, we want to help them scale. So we look for people who we can help scale. So each and every one of you that's over here is here for a purpose to grow personally in their personal or business life, but also people who are heart-centric and want to give back and make a difference in life of those you never have to meet them. I mean, if you open the news today, the world is so it's crazy to read what's happening, right? Every day. And I we can't escape these, right, anymore. It's right here in front of you every single day, every single moment. You wake up with this, you sleep with this. You can't escape negativity. You can't escape what is happening, but you can make a difference. You can be the change that you want to see. And that can all happen transactionally by every single thing that you do in life. So we're here to change that narrative, and we're here to shift the paradigm, not waiting for the governments, not waiting for others to do this, but take it upon us and how to create an economy where we benefit, we make, we're successful, but we're also impacting lives of those who never have a chance. Meaning people who never ever got a chance, a shot at life, people who don't make $1 a day, they don't have a roof over their head, or they don't have water in their fridge or food in their fridge. They, it's one thing when you're hungry, it's completely another thing when your child is hungry. So the people will go to any length to do anything, right? I mean, those people, simply by providing them education and food, that's all they need, a chance at life. So I created this whole economy based on a model that is in India. It's highly successful, called Akshaya Patra, where a child is given food as long as they attend the school. And that changed the whole mindset. My mindset changed because of that. So you're not giving free lunches, but you can't expect people who make $1 a day to survive without a roof over their head. Their kids end up into so many crazy places that they never should be. So it's such a polarized and such an imbalanced world that we live in. It's crazy. And everything that's happening, and we have all the money, all the resources, but it's just greed, greed, greed. So I'm kind of wanting to create an economy around kindness and gratitude and giving back and being more socially responsible. And I hope this resonates with most of you, if not everybody here. But with this, I want to also highlight that, I came here with nothing. And I want to tell you that, I started a diamond and jewelry business, which was successful. I had ups and downs of life. Everybody just knows the highs, nobody looks at the lows, right? But the lows, I had massive lows, and it was big lessons to be learned from there. And those were actually my training ground. So I learned resilience at a very early stage, right? So you'll find me talk about emotional stuff, and then you talk about intelligence, right? Somewhere they meet, and that's where the magic happens. And if you, as long as you're resilient, and as long as you never give up, as long as you take failures as lessons, not an option, it's not an option, you will rise above. You will shine. You will, like a phoenix from, like it's just given. Diamonds are made under pressure, and all of these things. Gold, has to go through fire in order to get 24 carats. So this is all that I've learned and known, never to give up and be kind. So why I'm telling you this is my life changed in 2014. And through the 10 years of this serving others, so much came back to me. I got so many incredible opportunities that I would never have had if I wasn't if Elliot wasn't born. So I have fast forward, I have 40 plus companies today. I'm close to 50 companies. I'm an investor. I sit on two funds. I started two funds. I learned syndication. I learned how to create wealth and how to keep it. Most importantly, is creation is one thing, but how to keep it and how to grow it. So that's what I've learned. And again, the blueprint I'm ready to share with everybody, and especially those who are in the program and those who are partners and those who are with us. I'm ready to open up chapters all across the globe. I'm ready to put the spotlight on others and give them the opportunity to grow their businesses and do good, because if people who are mission driven, they will always make the change in other people's life, without. So that's why I do what I do. And I'm very excited. I travel the world. I get a lot of exposure. I'm ready to travel again now. I'm going to Zurich, Geneva, and Italy, and I'll be back in Canada. So I'll be back in 3 weeks almost. I have a 3 week trip coming up. So I'm very excited for these road shows. It's really, fulfills me. Like I really enjoy doing what I do. right? It's really good to do what you love, right? And it's very rewarding and it's very satisfying when you see that one of your companies got a nice funding or they got into the next stage or they got acquired or you have an exit. All these things are really amazing, and that's what I really am here to talk about today. But this is just my background and my story, but I also want to give you guys a little bit of, who some of these people are that I would like to introduce you today. And I know that Alex Day isn't able to make it for some reason, but I want to just go around the room quickly and I'll kind of do the introduction. But I see somebody just walked in. Is Manoj here? I saw Manoj come in from Bombay.
Yeah,
Hi,
Craig, I'm good.
Manoj, how are
Yeah,
you? Good to
I'm
see
good.
you.
I'm good.
Good to see
Good to
you.
see you.
Yeah,
Yep.
see, I meet some incredible people across the globe, and they are very kind and giving, and like attracts like, that's what I believe in. And if you give kindness, you will attract kindness. So with that, I want to introduce my first speaker is Natalie Boehm here.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Natalie. So Natalie and I, we met not too long ago, about maybe a few months, maybe a year ago. I don't remember exactly. And then I instantly found the giving heart that she has and the change that she wants to bring in the world. Now, again, one thing I always will talk about is you have to have a business that's scalable, right? So scalability is something that I look for right away. But she has a foundation, and I really want to briefly, if you don't mind, just could you introduce yourself to the audience here today, and then let's talk about your why.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you for having me today, Craig. My name is Natalie Boehm. I'm the president and founder of the Defeating Epilepsy Foundation. We are a 501c3 not-for-profit in Southern California, and our mission is to provide the advocacy and educational resources needed to the epilepsy community in our society. I was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 2. I've been battling epilepsy now for 44 years, and my seizures have been controlled for the most part for the past 20 years. So this is my way to give back to my community. And my long-term goal is I want to see individuals who have epilepsy, as well as other neurological and neurodivergent conditions, be able to have better educational, economic opportunities and have the resources they need to have a good quality of life.
Thank you. That's really, yeah. And I kind of resonated with her really quick because one of my family members had that, and he was, diagnosed with it at early age also like you. But, in India, it wasn't easy, and he never had a normal life, and he never got married. He was 45 and he passed away in his sleep. So that purpose is really important that you're serving. And I'm glad you have this. But, every nonprofit needs to work as for profit because nonprofit is there for a reason, but you need to operate it as a for profit. So I always like to emphasize and focus on that. But with that, Natalie is signed up for as a new ambassador for Rancho, city of Rancho. Cucamonga is where she lives, but kind of entire Inland Empire. And we're looking to serve this community of Southern California where she is and her network is and her people are. So now the idea is to grow her businesses or business with keeping her as a center and not outward, not paying outside. I mean, I'm not saying don't do pay per click or don't sign up for ads. We don't do it. We not yet. But how about if people start coming into you, right? How about we start more people bringing into your funnel with the messaging? It's all about messaging and packaging. And how about if we can do connect you with our AI systems that can bring the right kind of people to you where you can scale your business. So Natalie is just the newest member of the family here. But Natalie, do you want to show them a couple of slides on if you have, and then talk just a
Absolutely.
little bit more about your why and how you plan to scale this?
Yeah. Can you see my screen okay?
Not popping. Now it is. Yes.
Now it is okay. So really what I want to focus on, and I'm so glad Craig brought it up, as a nonprofit, you really do have to have the for-profit mindset if you are going to scale it and grow it. Because the biggest thing I have seen with nonprofit is they focus too much on just a donation. And I've had to learn to keep my organization running because I launched it in the middle of COVID when I finished my master's degree, is you have to create multiple sources of revenue coming in. Because if you don't, let's say now we see what's going on with the economy, not so many people are going to donate. You have to find funding through mini grants. You have to find funding. I have a YouTube channel that generates revenue. I have a board who helps me find sponsors and other things. So it can't be just one thing, just like a for-profit business. If you rely on just one source of revenue and you take a hit, you're setting yourself up to lose your business. But what I try to focus on is, there we go. Having a business, for profit or nonprofit, I truly believe you have to have a passion. You have to have a mission and vision. Something has to be behind it. Because the one thing I always find is when somebody's in a hurry, I want to see the numbers. I want to see the money. I just want to go. It's not going to last. You have to, if you have your heart in something, you strategically plan something. That's when you set yourself up for long-term sustainability and success. So heart-based leadership, it focuses on empathy, compassion, connection, passion, dedication, because you're creating a lasting change. And the purpose of this change, when leaders, owners can really connect to their employees, they guide and empower them. They listen to them. They build trust. They look for long-term relationships to reduce turnover, and they try to make a healthy climate. One of the biggest mistakes companies make is they brag about their culture. But if you go into the climate and see the work, you can see a lack of trust. You can see micromanaging. And when you see that, now you're looking at professionals going from, I want to grow this company, to, oh, it's a paycheck right now. I'll get through it. Something better open up and I'm going on my way. Now you have people who don't feel appreciated. And if they don't feel appreciated, they're not going to go up and beyond to help you reach your goals as a business owner. So the purpose and role in being a leader is finding your meaning and fulfillment. I made the decision to make my foundation because I've seen for so many years the neglect of my community, how many people end up, like Craig said, having a poor quality life, having to rely on family, having to be on disability in a group home, or end up dying on the street homeless. I had had enough of seeing this due to a lack of education stigma. I knew making my company, a lot of businesses, a lot of corporation were going to look at me and go, I never want to hire this person. They're a liability. I knew I had to take this step in creating change to show that I'm not a liability and other people with disabilities are not a liability. But so many of us can create opportunities, because when you motivate people, even with challenges, now they're going to be loyal employees. They're going to see they're appreciated. They're going to go up and beyond. And there are studies that show this. There was a study, it was little back, it was from 2017 in Harvard Business. But this gentleman who was on the spectrum, who had been told no 100 times, a company finally said yes and hired him as a data analyst. And when they interviewed his colleagues, they said, yeah, he's a little awkward, has to have his noise canceling headphones on, fiddles with his shoelaces. He really doesn't talk to us. But he's the #1 data analyst in our team, and he's taken the company to a new level. So when you give people a chance and see the value in them, they will perform. So purposeful growth is showing short and long-term goals. Obviously you need to work in the short term and start making money, but you can't just think right in the moment. You can't be impulsive, because that's when mistakes are made. You have to think long-term. Here's my goal. What's going to happen next year, 3, 5, 10 years from now? How can I take my mission and vision and in time create it into something amazing? And by doing that, you have to lead by example. How do you stand out and show you're genuine, you're authentic, you're serious about what you want to do? And the most important thing is, as you're building your professional reputation, your brand and everything, you also have to have personal growth, which is for some people very difficult. I'll be the first to admit, in the first few years of launching, my goal was, I'm just going to make this into something amazing. However, I neglected myself. Long term, I burnt out and I got diagnosed with early stage breast cancer. I had to step back and reprioritize. How am I going to make my organization survive? How am I going to create this mission? And I had to learn to trust my board and others more and give them things to do. And the most important thing, and I tell business owners, it's okay to do this. It's okay to say the word no. If you truly can't take something on, it's gonna put a freeze on your mission and vision. You have to work in the best of yourself and your team. And if something comes in and it's not right, don't be afraid to say, you know what, I can't take it on. No, it's not a weakness. It's not a vulnerability. It's an empowerment where you know your strengths and weaknesses and you're taking care of yourself and your team. So heartfelt leadership fuels growth. And one example I can show quickly is when I launched, even though I brought in a little money, every year I've done something to give back to the community. In the first few years, every year I awarded two $500 scholarships to 2 students with epilepsy to help them with their cost. Yeah, it's a tiny amount, probably could get their books with it, but I showed I was serious about this. I started slowly bringing in more money. I started bringing in enough money where now we give 3 scholarships a year and we give 2 seizure alert dog grants. So dogs could be anywhere from $12,000 to $17,000. $1,000 grant may not seem like a lot to some people, but any sort of money, especially when a lot of these people were helping their children with uncontrolled seizures, it means so much to parents. Once people saw I was serious and I was fueling this at the end of last year, I normally receive maybe a couple thousand from companies. Within less than a week, I got 2 checks, one for 5,000 and one for 4,000. And I had another for 7. I made in almost a week, 10 grand, which was a record for me. But it's because I continuously showed, yes, I'm small. Yes, I'm just growing, but I'm serious. I'm authentic. I'm genuine. I want this to happen. And in time, people see it. Oh, excuse me. And that's how things happen. So for strategies, you have to have self-reflection and awareness. How do you look to others? What are people seeing when you're pitching for yourself? What are people seeing as you're building your brand? You want to establish trust with these people to have long-term sustainability and have relationships so that funding is coming in. And one thing that is so important is building emotional intelligence. I recently wrote an article for Forbes Business Council. I'll be happy to share it later. It's so important to have healthy emotional intelligence. If we become really stressed and we act impulsive or we have outbursts, it's very easy that toxic behavior for people to go, you know what? I don't want to work with this person. I'm not getting a good vibe. So it's so important to work on goals to prevent triggers. If you know certain things stress you out, how do you find balance? So not only are you working hard to grow your company, but you work hard to take care of you. It's important. And a lot of times the biggest obstacle I see is long-term trying to strategically plan long-term. Some people are too impulsive, and the other out of these is burnout. I see a lot of people who put their hearts into their companies, whether for-profit and nonprofit, it becomes their life. They forget to do little things for themselves, and then they become sick from it. So if anything, it's important to balance life and well-being. So you have to have a vision and purpose, model that for your team to establish trust. And what I'm just trying to say is heart-driven leadership. This brings leaders to the next level. When you have a passion and a mission and vision, you're more likely to move forward and succeed. It is important to have empathy for others and to be able to think outside the box. You need to establish trust with your team and your clients or your sponsors. And you have to create a healthy climate to prevent reduced turnover, reduce toxicity, reduce micromanaging, and have a healthy growth mindset that not only are you in the short term making a distance, but you have to work towards goal to make this a long-term reality. So
Thank you. I know it was, yeah, thank you. Very nice and super amazing to learn that, how much struggles, how many personal struggles that you've gone through and you've never given up. And and yet you're here. Yes, it's good to say no to when you can't pick up, but it's also good to say yes to when there's an opportunity that's knocking your door, and knowing the right opportunity. And hence, it's all about timing, right? You need to know what you can and you cannot do, but making the right choice at the right time also is going to be playing a tremendous role in where your future is. So, and if you surround yourself with the right people, I always talk about this, it's power of proximity. If you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you're going to become a millionaire. That's guaranteed. Mega millionaires, you'll become a mega millionaire. If you surround yourself with five, whatever, broke people, you're always going to talk broke language, and it's going to attract, right? Law of attraction. I didn't invent this. This is all, out there. Anyone that reads Napoleon Hill knows this, right? So it's really important to use your resource pool and always surround yourself with the right people, and always know that there's a community that's out there to back you up, which is like-minded people. So anytime, I always recommend that if you have a give, tell them what you can give first, and then ask for it. If you haven't asked, then you can ask. But again, Natalie, you're amazing, and I'm very excited to build this with you in the city of Rancho and around in Lanier Empire. I'm super excited to also, I know you have an event on coming up on 10th
The
of
April 10th.
to April 10th, right? So you have an event coming up, and once I come back from my trip, we should plan your in live event or whatever, in person event that with Elevate as well.
I
And
would love that.
yeah, yeah. So thank you for giving us your background. Thank you for giving us your why and how we can support you. And each one of you over here has a terrific story. And I know today we're going to focus and put spotlight on a few of you today, but also we're going to look at how to scale your business, which I will walk you guys through at the end of this little interview session. Um, with that, I want to bring in my next guest, Angelika. Can you please take the stage? Hey,
Can you hear me okay?
yes, I can hear you fine. Angelika and I, we've known each other for a few years, I think, now, and she's been in my network for some time. And what a giver she is, an amazing, very resilient, and very pleasant person, to say the least. Yeah, always shows up. So, Angelica, you're based in DC and in that area, and I want you to take a quick minute and do a quick introduction, and then we'll go into your why, and then what we're doing together as well.
Well, hello, everybody. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Angelika Ullsperger. I am a 15-time best-selling author and international speaker. So I work to provide knowledge and resources to entrepreneurs so they can create success for themselves in business and in their personal lives.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Not only she is an incredible speaker and an author, but she also is a great connector. She brings some of the great people together. She has a very good skill set that I really personally, I really enjoy that skill set, meaning helping others. There's no better joy, right? If you connect someone with someone and if they end up doing some good stuff, it's really so cool. And I absolutely love the energy that she radiates. And hence, we decided, she joined our program sometime last year. And then she's like, Craig, I think I can host events, and I think I can run a chapter in DC. And we kept talking, and fast forward, I see her purpose and why. And I kind of want to, so you might be wondering what a chapter is, in different areas and different cities. And how all this started was, I used to travel from city to city to city, and I used to go to different places. And I primarily wanted to sell my watches and jewelry. That was a honest reason that I started this back in 2011, 12. And then I slowly understood that, oh, I can speak on stage, and speaking on stage is one to many, right? You're selling one to one, but you sell one to many. And I saw a lot of people needed hope, and they asked me for my journey. Hence, I did what I did. And then eventually, how it happened was, more people wanted to learn about how I did that. So that turned into a mastermind. So now, finally, after years and years, we've decided that we're going to open these up to all these different cities. So there'll be little hubs. So we're going to develop each little pocket, and we're going to, grow that pocket, whether it's LA, New York, Miami, or I'm going to Zurich, Amsterdam, all anywhere in the world. There's entrepreneurs that need support. There are people that need support. And there's different areas of Elevate, right? There's personal development, business development, health and wellness. There's perks like travel. There's so many different things that we have partnerships with that we offer them. The purpose is to grow these little pockets, grow the entrepreneur in that pocket, allow them to become a seven-figure business, and turn them into investors. And ultimately, it's financial freedom, all while giving back. So Angelika has a network in DC, and she also has a really good, I mean, you know what? Why don't I just let you do the presentation? I know you have a little presentation too. So why don't you just do that if you want to go straight into it? Yeah.
Share my
Yeah, my whole purpose is how can we take these businesses, scale them, and make it a bigger impact on lives. So here we go.
sharing the right screen. For some reason, a bunch of calculators popped up the second I hit share. But can you guys
It says
see this slide?
clarity plus mindset plus systems equal to breakthrough.
Perfect. Okay. So basically, I'm going to be talking about a few different ways that you can unlock the power of your business. So clarity, mindset, and systems. Vital. You're going to need these. And if you really want to unlock the best parts of your business and really grow, you're going to have to go through these. So if you guys can think, what is one thing that's currently holding you back in business? Is it, you're lacking clarity, you don't know your client avatar, you're not hitting your ROIs. So just, think about what that is. So the potential of your business is directly tied to your systems, your mindset, and your clarity. So these are the 5 essential shifts I'm going to be touching on today. Clarity, creating power. Systems will set you free. Mindset, data, and connections. So clarity creates power. This is vital. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to know what steps to take. You can't, you're going to go across the country, you're going to need a map, you're going to need a GPS, or you're going to get lost. So most business owners cannot tell you clearly what they do, who they are, what problem they solve. I don't know if you noticed when I introduced myself, I stated who I am. I'm Angelika. I provide resources and knowledge to help entrepreneurs create more success in their businesses. So if you can get those 3 down, you can make a really nice, easy introduction that at the same time, while introducing who you are, tells people what you can provide for them. So, just think about what problem do you solve and for whom. All right, systems. So for me, systems are really important. I'm someone who struggles with ADHD. And for me, that manifests in lack of organization sometimes. So systems is something I've had to really focus on, and it's actually kind of fun. So, if you don't have a system, you become the system. And if you want to grow your business, it's not going to work. You can't be in your business and working on your business. You can't grow your business if you're only focusing on operations. So you're going to need systems. So there are 4 foundations of business systems. They're your production, marketing, finance, and your human resources. Some other things you can think of as far as systems are lead gen, sales, onboarding, delivery, and retention. So just some different systems to think about. I would think about in which ways does your business similar to other businesses? And then in which ways is it different? So your employees are probably going to have a harder time, learning the things that are different. So most people who have worked in retail, they know how to use a cash register. A lot of businesses have those. But, a lot of businesses might not have the same system of organization. So it's really important that you have these systems down so you can easily streamline it and teach it to others. Because, you're going to have to delegate eventually. So, think about it. Which process, if improved, would free up a lot more time immediately? All right, mindset. This is another vital one. I'm not sure if you've heard this before, but whether you can or you can't, you're right. So there's some mental blocks that entrepreneurs face. Things like, I'm not ready. I have to do it all. I can't trust anyone. these blocks are going to slow you down. I mean, first of all, let's be honest, you're never going to feel ready. You just need to take the leap of faith. So you're not a CEO, or you are a CEO, not a one-person task force. So you can't do everything yourself. It's okay to get help. It's okay to rely on others because you cannot do it alone. So what belief is capping your growth right now? And data. I love numbers. So now emotions, if we're only acting on emotions, then, we can make some rash decisions. So this is where numbers come in. So, you can't improve what you can't measure. If you start measuring your numbers, you can actually look at them. You can see where you are and where you need to go. For example, what's your goal amount? What is the amount of money you need to make this month? Okay. What is your service and how much does it cost? We'll do really low numbers just to make it easy. So you need to make $100 this month. Your product is $10. So you need to sell at least 10. So these numbers, when you start to work with them, you get a better idea of where you are and what you need to do to get where you're going. So here's just, 3 easy numbers for you. You can look at, your leads per month, your conversion rate, and your retention and lifetime value. Value is so important. You can't always compete in price, but you can always compete in value. The best thing you can do is underpromise and overdeliver. So, what numbers are you tracking weekly and what do they tell you? Are there any numbers you need to start tracking? And actually at the end of this, I have a workbook for goal setting. I'm going to add in this stuff and some of the questions so you guys can go back over it. Because I like to make sure that, if I'm teaching, I can give you guys something actionable that you can actually use. So this is a really important one. This is how I got to where I am today. Connection. I mean, we're all people. The world can be tough. The least we can do is, help other people. There's a ripple effect. When we put good into the world, we create little ripples and it actually starts to spread. And eventually it comes back around. So people buy from people they trust. Actually, it's the same for employees. They're not just staff, they're your teammates. So I'm not sure if you guys know this, but the number one reason employees leave is not because of money. It's because of the environment. So you need to give your employees something to look forward to. I know Natalie actually kind of talked about this because it's important, These people, they need to feel like they're having an impact. You need to help them understand the impact they're having. You need to provide them with opportunities to grow. And as long as you're providing opportunities to grow and you're you created a good environment, people will be less likely to leave. Yeah, the rewards, this is a really important one. Rewards have to outweigh criticism for growth to stick. I'm not sure if you guys have ever experienced this, but if you start trying to learn something new and you think about all of these, you could give yourself too many criticisms, you put up a mental block. It gets harder for you to do what you want to do when you're focused only on criticisms. And this is the same for people. And it's the same for kids, actually. So criticism is important. People need to understand what they're doing wrong and how they can improve. But if there's more criticism than reward and recognition, people are going to start to feel a little negativity. You want to keep it positive. So what are you guys doing to help your team feel supported? And also, this isn't just about, your employees. There's so many people out there that you can connect with, that you can help, and, other business owners. It's a collaborative experience. You don't have to see people as competition. You can see them as collaborators because, you want to go fast, you go by yourself, but when you want to go far, you got to go with others. So connection is really important. I think for me, focusing on value and connection over making money has gotten me to where I am today because it's more genuine. Like it's stuff that to me at least genuinely matters. And when you're focused on the impact you create and the value you're giving, everything else will, follow suit. So this is just a quick little reflection. So which one of these 5 areas do you think you need to focus on right now? Is it clarity? You're lacking in systems, maybe some mindset work, data, or connection. Then just a little challenge for you to take action this week. So, businesses don't get better by chance. It's better by clarity, structure, and decisions. So pick one of the 5. You got to start where you are and, take action. Knowledge, like they say, knowledge is power. It's not. It's applied knowledge is power. You need to apply the things that you learn and take action. As long as you're taking actions, you're going to make progress. So that's it. And then, like I said, I also have a little workbook to go with everything. If you want to go back through the questions and kind of just do a little breakdown, I'll have one.
I absolutely love the presentation. It was so apt, and you just made it sound like it was perfectly catered to the legacy program or to even, generally, because this is everything. 50% of the battle is won when just showing up, just by doing things, right? When you're showing up for something, you had a choice. You guys all are here today, right? So 50% is that part. I always say you believe in that, show up, even if it's far. I try to make it in person even better. Like, yeah, of course, Zoom is really, I'm thankful for Zooms and all the video calls that we get on, because at least we're connected that way. But in person, there's nothing like that. Exchanging that energy, meeting them, shaking that hand, giving a hug, building the bond, relationship, amazing. Systems, you talked about systems, great example. If you have, and nothing you need to reinvent of any of this, there's so many companies, amazing companies out there that have done so many amazing things, that if you put them and summarize them together, like if you follow the steps, you will hit success. It's a numbers game, right? 10 3 1, that's always how it is. You have 10 people, you have to have a no like and trust circle. If you have the no like and the no circle is, the bigger that is, the more successful you're going to be. If you have the more number of contacts you have in here, and if you're not monetizing it, then you're not doing it absolutely right. You have to reach out to them, you have to message it. How it is done is through steps and systems. So I absolutely love that. And collaboration, you talked about that. That was my favorite thing is partner up with someone. Everyone has some sort of a strength, right? Everyone will have some sort of your own passion, your own strength that you're good at. Use that to your leverage that and give that. Maybe you can do some sort of a deal with somebody and say, and partner up with them, offer them your services in return for that. So when you collaborate, you expand your networks, you expand, be like an octopus. I always say that, octopus on steroid. Elevate is octopus on steroid. We have partnership with so many different communities, so many different. I sometimes I just join them and I pay because I want to be there and I want to be able to access their network and learn from there. Recently, I was speaking at a family office event. Not recently; it's been a year and a half, at least a year, and it was here in LA. And Lorenzo Medici from the Medici family office was speaking, and he was in the audience at one point when I was on the panel, and he asked, where do you see yourself in 3 years from now? And I said, you know what? I'll be in one of these rooms, sitting in the corner, taking notes and writing and learning from you all. Because the day you stop learning, you stop living. That's how my thing is. So it's ever growing, ever changing. The world is moving at such a fast pace today. If you don't keep up, and you probably going to be, I always talk about the dial-up story, when we had those rotary phones. I don't know if you all remember the rotary phones. And then we got, something called a brick phone. We're like, wow, we can actually call someone from our car. Now we got the Motorola as the flip phones, right? That was so cool, smaller. We could send pictures and text messages. And then the aha moment came when, FaceTime and Apple just changed the game completely for all of us. So today I'm going to give you guys a hack before we leave end of this, meeting, whatever, and it will probably make your life a lot easier. It surely has made mine a lot easier. And I'll give you that hacks. It's mostly for Apple user, but I also know that Android users can use it too. There's a way to do that. So I'll give that to you. But Angelika, thank you so much. I know we're starting a powerful chapter in DC, and I know you're building your base and core, and I'm very excited for the DC chapter because it's been come a long way. I used to have a client in Tyson Square that I supplied, jewelry and diamonds to, and it's such a beautiful area. So I always want to come back over there. So Thanks for supporting and thanks for being there. And again, Elevate provides all these systems to you. We have a program called Legacy. We'll talk about it in a second. It gives you everything you need to succeed. And today you need a lot of things to succeed, believe me, ever than before. So thank you, Angelika, for that. And guys, I want to introduce you to my next speaker here and my next business partner from New York, Gabriel Covington. Thanks to Jeremy from Australia, all the way from Brisbane, Australia, who introduced me to him. And is Gabriel here? And can you just unmute our camera on, please? Um, Gabe?
Yes, how are you?
Good, good,
How's
good.
everything?
Fantastic, very nice. So we'll quickly do an introduction on Gabe. Met him not too long ago, maybe last year, sometime last year, and started building base and relationship because again, tying up with a person who is a community leader, right, is so vital because now you're not just getting one person, you're getting the whole community, right? So it's very important to have that kind of a leader who is in, I have several of these communities all across the globe, but Gabe is part of the Web3 community, very powerful. Gabe, you want to quickly put some, give your introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. For those who don't know, my name is Gabriel Covington. I've been an enthusiast of cryptocurrency for over 10 years, certified in blockchain, smart contract deployment, cryptography. So I'm really, really in the technical atmosphere, but also community driven, and really, really come from a place of being in New York and coming up from a rough upbringing, and then turning my life completely around due to sports and a few other opportunities. Um, just a quick just a quick introduction on myself as well. I pretty much just got into meeting Craig and into this atmosphere of the business side of things, which has been an amazing opportunity, learning about different companies, learning about being a startup, starting a business of my own is something that is relatively, I'm a few years in, but it's still very new to me. So having this opportunity is really, really special for me to learn about different founders and companies and different projects that are going on right now.
Yeah, Gabe, thank you. Meeting Gabe was like I know I got introduced through Jeremy, but Gabe and we know each other previously through my other business where I launched a mastermind based on my watches. And for those of it's a really cool project. It was really amazing where we put a chip inside the band that connects to your Web3 and blockchain world. And that was our common link between Gabe and I felt that he has tremendous